Gamini, are you having a problem with the sound? Can you hear me? You
We
have,
can hear you. We
Yeah,
can.
we can hear you.
no, I think just Gamini.
Okay,
Gamini,
okay.
you have to allow for sound on the computer. All right, so I think we can start now. So shall we all chant Namo Tassa? Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. All right, so today is going to be the initiation, the starting of the Abhidhamma studies that we are going to do. I have received some very good constructive criticisms from yesterday. So thank you very much for those of you who trusted me with your constructive criticisms. And yes, I am going to slow down a bit compared to yesterday. I'm going to slow down a bit and sort of take this class at a graceful pace, because I know sometimes with Abhidhamma, specifically with something like Abhidhamma, there are can be sort of like an information overload. So I'm going to take it at a graceful pace. Should you require to sort of revisit the talk, we are currently recording the session. And I will be uploading it hopefully tonight onto the Dhamma Center YouTube page. So that you have a point of reference to go back to and to sort of go through the talks. But your main point of reference should be the compendium of the comprehensive manual of Abhidhamma that I have mentioned in the email. I have given you the PDF link. Even if it would be amazing if you could order the book. You could very well get a good mic. I see you have the book. You could very well get the book on Amazon. There are also second-hand books that are available. It's not very important. The edition is not. Do not get the oldest edition or the first edition of it, but anything around these times. Yeah. Okay, Mike, you have a couple of editions. Okay, so a recent edition should be fine. You don't have to have the latest edition. It does not matter. There are only certain very, very trivial sort of editions within the sort of recent editions. So you do not have to worry if you have an old edition with you. Right. So Abhidhamma. So Abhidhamma, we know now, compared to the sutras, now all of you are people who are somewhat fluent in sort of Buddhist study. And we know that compared to the study of the sutras, the Abhidhamma sort of is to be studied in a very different manner, right? Now, if I may sort of tell you how we learn. Now, I initially started learning Abhidhamma through the post, actually, right? There was a lovely monk who was he was very good with his Abhidhamma, and he knew that I wanted to get ordained, and all of that. So what he did was, because he was living in a forest monastery, he would write pages and pages and pages explaining to me Chitta, Chaitasika, Rupa. It was so kind of him. And he would give me sort of introductions. That is how sort of I got initially. I sort of was introduced into Abhidhamma. At the time, I should say that I did not understand what the hell he was talking about. It was very, very complicated. It was as if it was almost gibberish, right? I sometimes wondered as if whether he was trying to confuse me, right? But Abhidhamma, up until actually I started meditating, um, having sort of a regular meditation practice. This was before I became a monk. Up until I started having a regular meditation practice, not a deep meditation practice, but a regular meditation practice, I did not actually understand Abhidhamma. The concept of a consciousness arising, these parts we will be going into, the concept or the teaching of Abhidhamma, which speaks about a consciousness arising and then passing away in one moment, and another consciousness arising and one consciousness arising at one moment. It did not sort of, I could not relate to the doctrine in a personal way. But the moment that I started meditating and sort of started seeing the mind, how one sensation arises and then it dies away or it ceases to exist, and another sensation arises and that sensation particularly ceases to exist, that then helped me sort of understand the way the consciousness operates and what is spoken of in Abhidhamma. So if you are serious about this class, if you are serious about learning Abhidhamma and sort of going deeper, dwelling deeper into the study of Abhidhamma, I would very highly recommend that you do start a mindfulness, a meditation practice, particularly Vipassana. Now, let's speak about the book. Now, the comprehensive manual of Abhidhamma to date, I think, is the go-to book when it comes to Abhidhamma. There is no other book in the market. There is no other book written that explains the Abhidhamma-Sanka as well as the comprehensive manual of Abhidhamma. Now, the comprehensive manual of Abhidhamma is somewhat a commentary to the Abhidhamma-Sanka itself. Now, what is the Abhidhamma-Sanka? The Abhidhamma-Sanka is a collection of stanzas, right? That is the book itself. And these stanzas are elaborated within the comprehensive manual of Abhidhamma. Now, the comprehensive manual of Abhidhamma. Now, if you would just go into the first chapter of the book, if you have the book with you, I want to if you go into the first chapter of the book, you will see that the chapter starts with a 4-verse stanza, right? Now, this is the extraction from the Abhidhamma-Sanka, right? Everything else which follows afterwards is what the venerable monks have added on as a commentary to explain what this stanza means. Now, in Burma, the Abhidhamma-Sanka, so then the Abhidhamma-Sanka is actually an introductory book to the books of Abhidhamma, or the Pali canon of Abhidhamma, the basket of Abhidhamma, right? So this is very much an introductory book, right? Now, your stepping stone, now if you are serious about sort of going into, dwelling deeper into the rest of the Tipitaka, right? This book that we are going to do, the comprehensive manual of Abhidhamma, the Abhidhamma-Sanka, is going to be your stepping stone to do all of the books of Abhidhamma, right? Starting from the Dhamma-Sangani, ending with the Patthana, right? Now, the Dhamma-Sangani, if you do this book proper and finish it off, that is your foundation to understand the Dhamma-Sangani. But you do not need to do the Dhamma-Sangani to understand the rest of the books of Abhidhamma also, right? This book is enough for you to also later on then move to the Patthana as well, or the Yamaka, or the Puggala Pannatti, right? So this is going to be your introductory or your foundation, your stepping stone into all the rest of the books on Abhidhamma. So you could understand how powerful or how valuable the teachings of this book is, and how sort of how well nourished and how rich the book is in terms of Dhamma material, right? Now, Venerable Acharya, or Acharya means teacher, right? Acharya, Acharya, Acharya Anuruddha, this book, this Abhidhamma-Sanka is somewhat his thesis, or his writings to his teacher, which his writings which were done at the request of his teacher, right? The teacher gave Acharya Anuruddha and his other brother monk a challenge to summarize these teachings into a way that could be easily accessible and learned. And this is the product that Acharya Anuruddha came out with. Now, now today my iPad is lagging a bit, I don't know what. Okay, hold on. Okay. Now, now the rest of the teachings. Now we have Venerable Silananda, Narada Mahathera. Now Narada Mahathera is a first monk he's a Sri Lankan monk who attempted to translate or make the Pali Abhidhamma-Sanka more accessible to the general public, to laity, basically, people who wanted to learn the Abhidhamma, right? U Revata and U Silananda. Now, U Revata is a very well-respected monk in Burma, right? And U Silananda is also a very, very respected monk in Burma. Venerable U Revata and U Silananda both worked on this book in the Burmese Buddhist Vihara in Birmingham, right? So they wrote this book, or brought all of this Dhamma together and sort of added on to Venerable Narada Mahathera's original book in Birmingham, right? So a lot of the teachings, actually, even Pali Made Easy, which was a book written by Venerable Ananda Maitri Mahanayaka Thera, was also done in the UK while he was in retreat in the UK. And that is actually the book that we learned in university, used in university to learn Pali for our bachelor's, right? So that book was a compilation of his notes that he used to teach, I think, the monks of Amaravati, I think, Amaravati or another monastery, but it was one of these monasteries. U Revat and U Silananda. Now, in the Burmese tradition, Abhidhamma is everything, right? Abhidhamma is so respected in Burma that even now in Sri Lanka, usually as a blessing, we would chant the Ratana Sutta, the Metta Sutta, and the Mangala Sutta, isn't it? Right? In Burma, people would chant the Patthana, right? Which is the last book of Abhidhamma, and they believe that that book has a lot of power. During my time of study at the Theravada University in Yangon, I met one of our senior students who was at the time just finishing her PhD. We both went to the same Yamaka class. So when when we sort of became friends, and she would the Yamaka class would finish at around about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and she would run out of the class, and it was always confusing as to why she would always run out of the class. She would grab her bags and just shoot out of the class. So one fine day I asked her, why are you running out of the class? What's the hurry? Are you going to catch a bus or something? And she told me that she's rushing out of the class to go to the Shwedagon Pagoda. As Shwedagon Pagoda is sort of the most respected pagoda of worship in the whole of Myanmar, believed to house the relics of 5 Buddhas, not one, but 5 Buddhas. But having been in Burma for a long time, Burmese also have sort of a habit of blowing things or making things look big. So they do sort of the myth of Shwedagon is the fact that they house the relics of 5 Buddhas. So she had been going to Shwedagon for, at the time, 18 years, every single day to chant the Patthana. Right? I was in disbelief. If we are all to take a trip to Burma after all of this ends, I'm sure at 7 o'clock we will find her there. Chanting the Patthana. And even a lot of the Burmese in the UK, when now, especially even with the coronavirus situation, I know that a lot of my Burmese devotees are actually chanting the Patthana as a sort of a way of receiving blessings, and they have a lot of belief in the power of Abhidhamma. In Burma, because Burma is now believed to be the sort of the seat of Abhidhamma almost, it is a place where the traditions of Abhidhamma and the teachings of Abhidhamma are well protected compared to Sri Lanka, Thailand, India, any other Buddhist country. Burma has a very, very strong tradition of Buddhist teachings and literature to support a student of Abhidhamma. Now, in Burma, what we would usually be doing is at the age of when a young novice ordains, at the age of 8 or 9, the novice has to memorize all of the stanzas of the Abhidhamma-Sanka. It is not a difficult task. There are, compared to most of the other literatures that they have to memorize, this is not a big thing. But how they study it is, first they are asked to memorize all of the stanzas by heart, and then they are taught the meaning of each and every word in all of the stanzas and verses of the Abhidhamma-Sanka. Right? This is, we studied in a similar way. That is why actually, even without now, it is 30 minutes before the class. I think I haven't sort of looked at this book since I taught Viral about 2 years ago. Right, I haven't opened the Abhidhamma book. Right, it's only 30 minutes ago that I actually opened and looked at what's in the book, but I can do that actually because I memorized the stanzas before, right? And so it sticks with you. Also, you will find a lot of people complain, oh, Bhante, it's too much to memorize, it's too much of data. I would say nonsense. Right? We have doctors here, we have lawyers here, we have engineers here, we have scientists here, we have, this is not a subject which is impossible to understand. It can be understood. How the process by which you can understand is you must connect it with the practice. With the meditation, with your Dhamma study, you must connect it with the practice, or else it will be as if you are eating something without salt or pepper. There will be no taste in it. the taste will come when you use the Abhidhamma, when you practically use the data that we are taught in the Abhidhamma in sort of understanding yourself, your mind. When anger arises, now we will be going through the types of consciousnesses. When anger arises, what happens? The feelings, the parts of anger, the levels of anger, right? The feeling of when anger arises and how anger passes away, the interaction of ego with anger, which allows anger to prolong in the consciousness. Now, these are questions that you must put to yourself, right? That you must put to yourself. That is how you gain a sort of a taste, a passion for the Abhidhamma. And when you grab hold of that, right, you will grow bored of the suttas sometime. Right, you will grow bored of the suttas sometime, because it is such a interesting doctrine, right? Such an interesting doctrine. Okay, now let me stop sort of trying to sell Abhidhamma to you. And we will go on to the history of the history behind this. If you are sending in any questions, please send it to the assistant account, right, which I have on my phone, so that I'm having the assistant account on my phone so that I can type the Pali words in for you, right? So if you're sending in any questions, or if you want to say something, please send it to the assistant account, right, rather than my account, right? Thank you. Now, the Abhidhamma is a doctrine which is said to be taught by the Buddha, not to the humans, but rather to the deities. It is an action that the Buddha decided on teaching as an action of gratitude towards his mother, who was then a being who was born within the planes of the divine realms. So as an action, as an act of gratitude, the Buddha taught the highest available teachings on reality and phenomena in this universe. According to Abhidhamma, according to Dhamma, this is the highest, most profound teachings regarding the universe in the world, right? And this was an offering from the Buddha to his mother, which makes me a bit emotional. Right? Which is such a beautiful lesson to all of us also, I think, right? This was his offering to his mother. How did we get the teachings? How we receive the teachings is, now the Buddha taught the Abhidhamma to the deities, and it is said that the Buddha, when relating the Dhamma to the deities, the Buddha would speak very, very fast, right? Very, very fast. And if we had a record of everything the Buddha taught the deities, we would not be able to house that amount of books. There would be so many books. What we have with us in the Abhidhamma canon, or the basket of Abhidhamma, are the teachings that the essence that the Buddha taught Sariputta. For Sariputta to in turn teach his 500 disciples. During the time when the Buddha would come down from the Tavantissa divine realm down back to or the human realm for his alms, right? For his alms, for his food, for his daily food. It is during this time that it is said that the Buddha taught or gave the essence of the teaching that he had conducted in the divine realm to Sariputta. So that Sariputta would in turn then teach his 500 disciples. Now, for Sariputta to understand. Now it is also said, now what is the reason that now Sariputta, it was taught to Sariputta, but Moggall, it is not, Moggallana's presence, Venerable Moggallana's presence is not spoken of in this interaction. Venerable Sariputta's intellect is only second to the Buddha himself. Is only second to the Buddha himself, and it is said that if the Buddha was to teach this essence or to preach this essence to another monk, it would not have been received at the same capacity and efficiency that Sariputta received the teachings and understood the teachings. This oral tradition of Abhidhamma, right, it has come, or has gone through a lot of scrutiny through the years. But this scrutiny, I believe, is nothing for us to take into much consideration, because this scrutiny did not start 1,000 or 2,000 years ago. This scrutiny very much started in very, very recent times, maybe about 100 to 150 years, right? 100 to 150 years. It is within that period, which is a very recent period compared to how long the Dhamma has been with us, which is comparably a small amount of time. Whether the Dhamma, because it was again taught by Venerable Sariputta, there is also a question to which it was later added into the Pali Canon. But what I would love you, or what I would recommend you do, is learn it, understand it, try to understand the essence within it, and see if it helps you. See if it helps your practice. In the practice of Vipassana, right, now please, as I have, let me please remind everyone, if you do have any question, please use the emojis under the reactions. If you agree, you can use a thumbs up. If you have a question, you can put your hand up. There's a hand up option as well, right? Hand up option as well. So then I will unmute your mic and ask you what your question is, or what you could do is you can text or chat with our assistant and then send your question in, so I will see it and then I will answer it, right? Please do not feel in any way that you will be offending me, or in any way offending me. I will not take any offense. Please ask any question that you want to. Even if you are going to challenge something which is said, you can very much challenge it in a very polite manner. Right. So, yes. So the doctrine of Abhidhamma is then when we would take the practice of Vipassana, or the practice of insight meditation. We know insight meditation is the prime meditation practice, the core meditation practice, which the core meditation practice in Buddhism. And it is also the meditation practice which allows for one to get rid of the hindrances in a way that one would then be able to attain enlightenment, right? As we go on now, we will go on to speak about Vipassana and Samatha towards the end of this book, right? Towards the end of this book. But let me just give you this as we start, as you will all sort of use this as a meditation with your meditation. In certain parts of Vipassana, now I remember, let me just tell you a story. I remember when I was meditating in Naoina, in the middle, so the Naoina was divided into 3 sections, actually 4 sections. The lower monastery, the middle monastery, and then we had a upper monastery, and then we had a different section which was a long way from the lower monastery, which was about 16-kilometer walk from the lower monastery into this other part where it was a very austeric part. So the middle monastery is the part where we would be going on retreat. So all the retreatants were in the middle monastery. So it was a strict retreat. We would not be talking or anything like that. It would be a very sort of strict regimented practice. So so I was a part of this retreat. It was my first Rains retreat as a Upasampada or a higher ordained bhikkhu. It was my first year. That so for my higher ordination, when I traveled down to Sri Lanka, I was in Nawena. And Nawena, for those of you who do not know, is the biggest or largest forest meditation center in Sri Lanka. It's a renowned, very well respected center. Now, when I was meditating in Nawena, now in the middle monastery, there was a monk who was a senior monk. He was also senior retreatant. He was also, we knew that he had surpassed a certain stage, not in terms of enlightenment, but basically in terms of samatha. And he had a very deep, profound practice, right? But now when I walked into the meditation hall, he sat quite close to me, not immediately close, but I had to go past him to reach my seat. He would be meditating, and then he would get up and then look at a book and then close his eyes and meditate again. And in the process of me walking from the main door to my seat, he got up twice. And I was like, what? Because for those of you who understand samadhi, when you go into a deep state of samadhi, you won't be getting up and reading a book. It was quite baffling to me, right? So it was baffling to me because within the middle monastery, he was seen as a monk who had developed a certain stage of samadhi. And to me, it was baffling because how could he be, it was my question then, how is he developed if he's waking up 2 minutes or, within 30 seconds and reading a book and going back. So of course, I did not sort of ask him, it's not my business, but the question was in my heart. And later on, during the day actually, he approached me in the tea room and he asked me whether because I had come down from Burma, he knew that I had completed the Abhidhamma by then. He asked me, could you be able to teach me a bit about Abhidhamma? I'm having a bit of a barrier in my meditation because I don't know a certain part of the Abhidhamma, right? And to me, I asked him, I was like, Bhante, is it difficult to go ahead of this stage without that knowledge? And he said, yes. And because the monastery is not a monastery that teaches or is an academic monastery, there are bumps that these monks go through because they are not taught the Abhidhamma. So then I taught him the Abhidhamma, and then a couple of weeks afterward, he came and thanked me. So I guess he got over his hurdle, right? So the Abhidhamma is very much necessary for one to progress in samadhi, in vipassana. Particularly if you have heard the word nama rupa paricheda jnana. Nama rupa paricheda jnana. Nama rupa paricheda jnana is to do. Now, what is nama rupa paricheda jnana? Everything in this book. So basically, you need to know the mind. Nama is mind. Rupa is materiality. Paricheda, the knowledge of discerning mind and matter. The knowledge to discern mind and matter comes from this book, right? comes from this book, is then, after doing this book, is purified through the Dhamma-Sangani and the Pattan and the rest of the books of Abhidhamma. Right? So do not think, if someone is to tell you that Abhidhamma is not connect or not necessary for the Dhamma, please refer the person to me. I will give them a good telling off. I'm joking. Right. So now within the Abhidhamma, now we are going into, there are bits and parts of more to do with the history of Abhidhamma, which I will, as we progress along the class, I will sort of add these things in, right? Now, within the doctrine of Abhidhamma, we speak about 4 realities, right? The four realities being Chitta, Chaitasika, Rupa, and Nibbana. Now, these realities, right, these are known as ultimate realities. Now, I hope that you have a notebook with you, right? Please take down points and notes. If you have the Abhidhamma-Sanka with you, if you have the comprehensive manual with you, do not worry about ruining your good book. Write on the book. Write on the book, right? Because when you refer back, when you open the book, you have all of these points. You have all of these points in the book, right? Now, when it comes to the study of Abhidhamma entails the study of ultimate realities. The study of ultimate reality. Then, there are 2 types of realities. What are the 2 types of reality? Ultimate reality and conventional reality, right? Ultimate reality and conventional reality. Parramatta Satya and what is the word? Parramatta Satya and conventional reality is I forget the Pali word. It'll come to me. The ultimate reality and conventional reality. Sammuti Satya.
Panyapti.
Panyapti is concept. Sammuti Satya. Right? Sammuti Satya. So Parramatta Satya and Sammuti Satya are the the 2 parts by which the Dhamma relates to the Sammuti Satya and the Abhidhamma relates to the understanding of the Parramatta Satya. The Parramatta Satya, now we'll go to Sammuti Satya first. A Sammuti Satya, right? They are also sometimes called, the Sammuti Satya are truths that are created by the manifestation or the collection of different phenomena, right? Now you can relate, we would look at, let's say, a book, right? And when we are used to there being a cover of this sort and the pages, right, we call it a book. If it is just a page, if it is just one page, we would not call it a book, we would call it a page. But what is it in this book that makes it a book, right? It is similar to what is it in, for example, your names that makes you deserving of that name, right? It is just a name, right? It is just a name that your parents have given you, right? And that is it, right? Likewise, we give names, right? or we find ways how we can relate or understand certain phenomena, right? And we give it functions and features and we use these things. Now, but these things can be broken down, right? These things can be broken down. A Paramatta Satya or an ultimate reality cannot be broken down. It is to say, for example, now another example, now if we would take a chair, you could maybe take out the iron, the cushion, and maybe make a table out of it, right? Or you could make something else out of it. You could take some wood, strip it apart, and make whatever you want out of it, right? That is the quality of a conventional reality, Sammuti Satya, right? A Sammuti, now, today you're a good person, tomorrow you're a bad person, according to your wife or your husband, right? So in a way, you are also a Sammuti Satya, right? Sammuti Satya. It changes. A Paramatta Satya does not change. So then what is a Paramatta Satya, right? I think in modern, what we know or what we can record with the science or the science capacities available to us, we relate to the smallest recorded sort of phenomena as a quark, right? A quark is smaller than an atom itself, right? A quark. Now, is that ultimate reality then? No, that is not ultimate reality. An ultimate reality is almost as a nature, if you understand what I mean. If you have any questions, it is very important that we understand. Do not think that you're holding the class behind. If you do not understand and if you ask a question, please ask. I do not want you. Oh, Mike, you had a question, is it? Did you have a question earlier?
No, it was congratulations on what you actually said.
Okay. Gaini?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go ahead.
So is this ultimate reality is like it's smaller than atomic cell? So is it like energy?
Is it like a energy? No.
Yeah, it's like an energy. No, smaller than that.
All right. Don Jai Singh is, where is Don? Don, can you unmute your mic? I can't. Yes. Yes, Don, go ahead.
Yes, Bhante Pannavamsa.
Okay. Gihanta, yes.
You recognize. Okay. Thank you, Bhante. My question is, you mentioned that Rupa is also one of the ultimate phenomena. In general life, they say that mass can also be sort of broken down into energy. So I've always equated Rupa to be like mass. But you said Rupa itself cannot be broken down because it's an ultimate. Could you reconcile that, please?
Okay. So when I say a Rupa, now this is, this is a Rupa, right? Now, I'm sorry, this is not a Rupa, this is a water bottle. Right? Which is made out of Rupa, right? Which is made out of Rupa. Now, what is it that goes into making this? If it goes all the way down to the foundation of the strength of what holds its strength to enabling it to sustain itself, right? But Gihanta, with regard to Rupa, let us hold it off for a bit until we come to the chapter, or else we have to dwell into Rupa whilst having not finished Chitta, right? But Gaini, your question, Gaini, if you can unmute your mic, your question, this is it is, of course, it is an energy. More than that, it is related as if it is a sort of a nature itself, right? A nature itself. Now within the Abhidhamma, the Chitta, Chaitasika, Rupa, Nibbana. Now when you would say, now let us say that an emotion which is, let's say, anger, something as gross as anger. Now the emotion of anger has different levels and reasons and mental factors. It's a whole big curry, right? There are a lot of things in it, right? The consciousness, the chitta attribute, is one ingredient, or rather one nature within that whole curry, right? Just imagine the fact that a curry cannot be solid. A curry must be watery. It must be something which flows. It must have a watery feature to it, right? It is not something which is solid, right? That nature of it is what makes it a curry, right? It is something like that. Now, there are many questions like this. Gaini and Gihant have asked. The others might also have various questions similar, right? Ask the question, but do not come into a conclusion up until we go into the first chapter, right? Then you will understand, with the knowledge that you accumulate, you will understand what it is that we are talking about, right? What it is that we're talking about.
Thanks.
Oh, okay, Gaini. So, Chitta, Chaitasika, Rupa and Nibbana. Now, Chitta, Chaitasika, Rupa are quite easy to explain. I wouldn't say easy, but it is relatively easy to teach. Nibbana being only one, right, is the most difficult attribute within Abhidhamma to understand. The reason behind this is, if I may use the example of, now if you have not eaten a certain vegetable, something exotic, something that is usually not consumed, you know, but let's not even think of consuming a bat, please, right? But something exotic, something that you haven't consumed. But now there is this someone who is, you haven't even consumed anything in that family, right? Nothing. Now someone is trying to explain to you what that feeling is, that sensation, the taste of it, what it feels like, how watery it is, how hot it is, or whatever it is, right? But there is nothing that person can compare that vegetable or whatever it is to any other vegetable on the planet, right? Because of that, it is very difficult for us to understand what that vegetable would taste like. Similarly, because we do not have anything to compare with within the realm of sensual pleasure, it is very difficult for us to understand a state of mind that can relate or even come close to a mind of Nibbana, right? To a mind of Nibbana. We will be going into, I'm not going to go deeper into it, we'll be going deeper into it as we study the Chittas and the Chaitasikas, right? As we study the Chittas and the Chaitasikas. May I know if you have the comprehensive manual of Abhidhamma, right? If you have now, I've sent you the link, right? If you have a way, that book needs to be in front of you, right? The people who do not have it in front of you, can you give me a thumbs up, please, just for me to know that you do not have it in front of you? Okay. Okay. So you all do not have it in front of you. You need to have it in front of you, either on your iPad or maybe a printout, or try to get the book down. You have time to get the book down. Try to get the book down. It'll be very much worth it, because we are going to finish that book, right? And you having the book will allow you to make notes on the book, highlight on the book. Do not be afraid to write on the book just because you don't want to spoil it. Write on the book, because you need those notes. And don't write with a pencil, write with a pen, please. Right? With a pen. Right? So that you have those notes with you, because there are certain things in that book with the language that some bits of the language which has been used is sometimes difficult to understand, right? So it is very important that we understand what the meaning of the word is specifically, right? Now, to a person who has been sort of brought up in the West, the word enlightenment means something very different to the way that a person from the East relates to the word enlightenment, right? The degree to which we understand the word enlightenment is completely different. That is why you need to make notes on the book, right? You need to make notes on the book. Now, so today was supposed to be more an introduction to the book, because I knew that most of you all would have trouble sort of getting the book and having it in front of you. So today is going to mainly be an introduction to the book that we are going to be doing. So within, when it comes to the chittas, right? The chittas, there are 89 or 121 types of consciousnesses. Veera, do you have a question?
Yes, in the book, it's we have got two type of conventional, which is sammuti satya, and panyapti, which is conceptual thought. The reason why I asked Bhante, because in the book says that whatever we learn as panyapti, or the conceptual, but there's a process through which we have to convert that one into ultimate reality, or Parramatta Satya, through your Yoniso Manasikara, or through meditation, or through really revisiting the same and convincing yourself the real meaning of it.
Yes. Does anyone have a question in mind regarding conventional ultimate reality? Because it is paramount that you understand this before we move on to the rest. Okay, if you do have a question, could you put, can you give me a clap emoji, please, if you have a question regarding conventional and ultimate reality? Yes, Mike.
The ultimate reality, what Ajahn Chah calls the suchness.
Yes, it is.
It is.
It is. The four satchas: Chitta, Chetasika, Rupa, Nibbana. Right? Ultimate reality. Right? Now, these ultimate realities, right, do not change their natures, their functions, their features, their functions, features, manifestations all remain the same. They remain the same, right? Everyone would be these rupas, these qualities. Even if we take the rupas, each rupa has its own quality, function, feature, and it does not go beyond that according to the Abhidhamma, right? What we see, now, for example, let us take the example of you seeing someone from up the road or from sort of the edge of the outer edge of a park walking towards you or to the direction that you are, walking towards the direction that you are in, right? The person is wearing trousers, this person is wearing a shirt or whatever. It seems to be a man or a woman, but is not a man. You might think it's a woman, but it's a man, right? When the person comes closer, you see, it's not a man, it's a woman, right? Or it's not a woman, it's a man, right? Now, the element of cognition here and the element itself are two different things. Yes, the element and the element of and the cognitive process of analyzing or taking in that element are two different things. Now, the conventional reality, right, within that element is a conventional reality that we have created, right? Right? How have we created this in our mind? Through the cognitive process where we take this element in. This is a creation within our minds, right? Because of light. Now, it is said within the Abhidhamma, we will come to it when we go on to the chapter on Rupa. If there is, now for a person to see, there must be the eye faculty, right? There must be the consciousness, there must be the prasada rupa, and there must be light. Without light, you will not be able to see. The question arises in the commentary, is darkness not an object? Right? The commentary says, no, darkness is the absence of an object. Is the absence of an object. Is an absence of an object. Now, when we dwell deeper, now the people who've, I'm guessing the people who have done science would know, or even engineering, I presume physics. When you dwell deeper into a molecule, right? There is a section within the molecule where it seems as if there is nothing. When you go deeper into this molecule, you find that there is now something smaller than that, right? A stage of darkness, a stage of emptiness, right? Now, in your meditation, as we go through, we experience states similar to that state, right? I will actually send you all, what is the best way to send you this? Maybe I will send out a WhatsApp message to all of you, right? Where now in our meditation, we have come across people who sometimes believe that they are enlightened, right? Who very strongly believe that they are enlightened. In my very small amount of years as a monk, I have come across too many, right? Who believe that they are enlightened. And this actually the Buddha has spoken of within the sutras. And also the Abhidhamma, there comes a state in your mind when you have so much of passion towards the Dhamma, towards the meditation, so much of conviction towards the practice, that because of that passion that you have and the love and the sort of affection that you have towards the practice, your mind is subdued by the practice. subdued, but the hindrances have not been eradicated. Right? It is as if you are crossing the road, you are stunned by an oncoming car or flashed by the headlight of an oncoming car, that you freeze. Right? You freezing, now we know that the freezing motion is done by the amygdala as a way to protect the body, right? As a protective mechanism, right? But this freeze does not mean that you do not know how to walk, right? It is very much similar to the hindrances and the person who thinks that one has got rid of them, right? Got rid of them. So as we go on, things will become clear, I promise, right? And but keep on asking the question. Keep on asking the question. Hold on. Don, yes. Gihanta, yes.
Bhante, what is the difference between Chitta and Chaitasika?
Okay. If we say Gihanta, if we speak of, let's say, a potato curry,
Okay.
that is how I'm going to explain it at the moment, right? The chitta is the potato, and the chaitasikas are the onions and the spices, herb that you put into it, right?
Right.
That is enough for now, Gihanta. As we progress, we will understand.
Thank you.
The chitta is the sort of the main man, right? The example given within the Abhidhamma-Sanka is the king and his retinue, right?
Okay.
The king is no one without the retinue, right?
Right.
Right? If the king
Okay.
right? So the king is the Chaitasika, the retinue is that which allows the chitta or the king to do what the king does.
I see. Okay. Thank you, Bhante.
Yes. We will dwell deep into the between the two at the end of Chaitasika.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So, there you go, sir. Now, we will get started on page number page number 25, right? So now the element of cognition that we spoke, I'll give you a bit of time to turn to the page, right?
Bhante, different editions got different numbers. Now, in my book, number 25, actually, paragraph 2, guide 2.
Guide 2. Yes.
So if you quote the guide number, then...
Guide 2. Chatuddha Parramatta, the fourfold ultimate realities. Mike, I think we are using the same.
Yeah. Okay, that's right, yes.
Right. All right. So now, when I spoke of that person who is coming, now we interpreted the person was really a woman, right? We thought it was a man. Now, the thought or the process or the act of mind in thinking that person to be a man was an expression of our mind. And the way that we analyze the data presented to us, right? Analyze the data presented to us, the data presented how, from where the image, the clothes, the walk, the light, preconceived elements, past experiences, all of these things, right? This is what we then refer to as a sense of expression, vohara. Vohara, right? This is the expression of mind, how a person takes an object. Now, it is now in this vohara, as we develop upon in the path, we are developed within the path, the way that we think, behave, interact with ourselves as well as everything around us changes, right? Changes. We might still have anger, we will still have ignorance, but with the present consciousness that we have, the level or the power or the depth to which that consciousness exists within our mind varies, right? That is also an expression. But the consciousness itself is the same. Do you understand? Yes, Chamari, I can see your eyes going from one side to the other. Please speak to me.
Okay.
I have unmuted you.
Right. I'm not 100% sure I understood, Bhante. Can you explain it a tiny bit more?
Oh, yes. So, okay. So let us take now the first chitta, right? Actually, no, wait. We will come to it when we explain the first chitta, right? But what we have to know now is the consciousness or the primary element of consciousness, which can be through the eye, nose, tongue, body, all of that, right? Or predominantly the mind, right? That consciousness remains the same. But because of the mental factors with the experiences that we have, right? With the experiences that we have, the mental factors that affect this consciousness varies. Thus, what happens is the mode of expression, now it is as if, now when you are at home, you are very relaxed with your language, right? But when you come to the temple, or when you go to a retreat center, or when you go to a place of work, right, you use more refined speech. You are very careful about the words you use. You are more respectable. You know, but it's the same thing. It's speaking, right? Now that is the expression of it, vohara, right? And that is a part of the conventional reality itself, right? That is a part of the conventional reality itself. Do we have any questions? Bill, do you have any questions? No questions. Okay.
Can you?
Yes, I can
hear me.
Yes.
I think I understand what you're explaining. Thank you.
All right. So now the Parramatta Satcha, right? Ultimate realities in contrast. Paula, we are using the comprehensive manual of Abhidhamma, Paula. Ultimate realities in contrast are things that exist by reason of their own intrinsic nature. If look at that, highlight it if you can. right? That is what ultimate reality is. It exists by reason of their own intrinsic nature. There is nothing that supports it. It is it, right? It is it, right? These are the Dhammas, the final irreducible components of existence, right? The final irreducible components of existence. Now that is what a Parramatta is. You cannot change it, right? It exists. A Parramatta is neither good nor bad, right? It is a nature on its own, right? It is a nature on its own. We are the ones who give it life, right? We are the ones who bring it, who use consciousnesses, mental factors to use. Now, for example, everything in this world done with hate is done with two types of consciousnesses. There are only two hatred-rooted consciousnesses, right? Now see the damage. Two consciousnesses, right? We are the ones who give it life, right? These consciousnesses, right? There are karma vachara, or consciousnesses that are, Mike, do you have a question?
No, I'm trying to grasp the difference in the ultimate to the conventional, and what I'm getting is the conventional is something that you have a concept about or concepts about, and the ultimate is what it is. So
Can
if
we
you
have
say,
an example, Mike?
sorry?
Can we have an example?
Yeah, I was just trying to think of one. If you have a mango, yeah, a mango is a mango. Some people would taste the mango and think, oh, this is terrible, I really don't like this. Some people would taste the mango and think, oh, this is wonderful, I love mangoes, yeah. But the mango is just a mango. The rest of it is concepts that you put around that mango, which makes it good or bad, or desirable or not desirable.
Okay. The definition of ultimate reality goes into what creates or allows for the mango to be a mango.
Yes.
Right? Now, for example, you take a mango and an apple.
Yeah.
Right? The sweetness is different. The hardness is different. Right? The texture is different.
Yeah.
Right? It's two. Now, but both of these fruits have ultimate realities within them, but they are not the ultimate reality. Because you can take an apple and cut it in half and you will have two halves. You cut it, cut it, you break it into parts, and the thing that you find ultimately where it is irreducible, that is your ultimate reality. This ultimate reality, now, for example, let us take the elements: earth, water, air, and fire.
Yeah.
Right? These elements exist now, even in this, right? In this plastic, this element exists. Right? These elements must exist, coexist, and support one another for the elements to remain intact.
Yes.
Right? So the chitta, the chaitasika works together in a way to support one another, and rupa works together sort of and they both work together in a way of nourishing and helping each other function. The moment that the body starts to decay, to rot, the process of rotting starts in the body the moment the mind leaves the body, when that connection is broken, right? So
That's right.
so this ultimate reality, what we are speaking of, is going. So if we just say it is the mango and what we think of, or the name that we've given the mango, and that is, yes, the conventional part is correct. But the convention of mango, now Mike, if you take the sweetness of the mango, right? Now we have eaten so many mangoes and we know what a proper mango is also, right? When it is too ripe, when it is too raw, right? When it is sort of too be, you get what I mean.
I do,
We do love a good mango, don't we?
Me too.
Right? Now, but what is now these different textures of mango varying from raw to the perfect mango, that is also convention.
Right.
That is also convention.
Yes.
Right? Now, there are some people who love sweets. Right? There are some people who hate it.
Yeah.
Right? The hate or love part is a convention that we have put onto whatever it is. Whatever element, do we like it? Is it to our taste? Is it not? That is convention, right?
Yeah.
The ultimate reality exists in a different plane and the Buddha uses this teaching to say, look here, we are all in a process of impermanence and change. Nothing in this existing phenomena is consistent. Is consistent. The mind changes, the body changes, everything around us changes, right? And this is the perfect time to understand that. This is the perfect time to understand that is why the Buddha has taken ultimate reality, and in understanding these ultimate realities, we find out what actually within us creates and fuels this conventional reality, sort of reality show that we are all in.
Well said. Well said. Yeah.
So that is what. So if, although now even a day after tomorrow when we do the Abhidhamma again, if you have any questions regarding now, please read the book. Read the book, right? You might read it one time, read it the second time, read that same chapter the second time as well, right? I think I have read this book about 6-7 times, right? 5 times being just for my study, right?
Yeah.
So it is every time that you read it, you will learn something new and you will understand it to a different degree, right? To a different degree, right? So now, do we have any questions? If you have a question, please, the clap emoji or the hand up. Do we understand what ultimate reality and conventional reality is?
You have an inkling.
Still?
Yeah, you asked us to look. You sent us a link that we could access the book on an iPad or on an iPhone, and you told us to look at page 25. Is it?
Yes, but now yes, page 25. Guy,
so is that the page 25 which is still in the introduction?
We are still in the introduction, yes. Am I going too slow there?
No, you're not. But I couldn't quite look at that and you were saying on that page. So I was wondering.
So we were literally going through the 2 paragraphs at the end of the page, right? All right. So do we have any questions? Do we have any questions? Gaini Prashnadda?
Yeah, no, Bhante, quick question. I think somebody asked on the chat.
I'm sorry. Even if it's a long question, no matter, please ask. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, thanks. Sorry to interrupt anyway. No, just another question on the chat. It's asking about Patavi Apo Tejo Vayu. So is that, how can we relate that to Chitta Chaitasika Rupa Nibbana, or is it completely different thing?
Patavi Apo Tejo Vayu is earth, the 4 elements. That was just an example that I gave. Right.
Okay.
We will be going to Patavi Apo Tejo Vayu in the chapter concerning materiality Rupa, which I think is the 4th chapter or the 5th. All right.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
Nihal?
Thanks.
Nihal, can you unmute yourself? Yeah. Nihal, did you have a question?
Bhante, do you?
Yes. I can hear you, Nihal.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
So there is a feedback.
Devices near you. You will have to mute one.
Yeah. Can I?
Yes.
Sorry, this is interrupting.
All right. Maybe you can type the question, Nihal. Does anyone else have a question? Miri, you have been awfully silent, Miri.
Thank you, Bhante, for today. It's
now have you understood
it's been very good.
properly?
Thank you.
All right. So for the next class, we will be going into the rest of the chapter of the Chittas, right? I will send you a link of a website that you can go to for material for study. It is, I think it's called Abhidhamma.org or Abhidhamma.com, right? Where you can go for material charts and other material, study material regarding, I will send it to you. Actually, I might just put it on the website so you could access it on the website. So on the website, and you can access this site for resources regarding the Chittas. But when it comes to that specific part where you need to see this, we will put it up on the screen and we will look at it together, right? But by all means, go ahead, read the book, right? There might be parts that you cannot understand, doesn't matter. Read the book, get an idea, feel for the book, right? And try to start at least 5 to 10 minutes of, if you are not a meditator, if you're not in the habit of meditating, start doing about 5 to 10 minutes of meditation a day, right? And in your meditation now, with regards to the chapter on the Chittas, the chapter on Chittas relates very closely to the Chittanupassana Bhavana, right? Which is the Veera. What is the English for Chittanupassana? Veera.
I'm trying to get the remember. Chittanupassana is
the contemplation of consciousness.
Oh, yeah.
Right? The contemplation of consciousness. So this the Vipassana technique, which is the contemplation of consciousness, relates very closely to the practice through what we will learn throughout the consciousness or the Chitta chapter. Now, specific traditions of meditations specific meditation traditions that use Chittanupassana Bhavana or contemplation of consciousness meditations are, for example, in Burma, there is a tradition called Bhante Tejinda. Bhante Tejaniya. Bhante Tejaniya's technique, which is a very popular technique actually. There are a lot of Theravada meditations in the West who also use Bhante Tejaniya's technique. Bhante Tejaniya's technique is a Chittanupassana Bhavana, or a contemplation of consciousness. And if you are a meditator who uses this contemplation of consciousness technique, this chapter is very, very, very important to you, because it tells you all the consciousnesses that you have to look at, or rather be aware of, right? So see, in that way, we must find a place for what we learn within our lives, or else we will have no taste for what we are sort of learning through. And within the Abhidhamma, there are lots of data, lots of information, right? And do not think that this information is unnecessary. This information intricately molds the understanding that the Abhidhamma-Sanka is trying to sort of teach us, right? Intricately molds our understanding, right? So it is very important that you read the book, right? And have the book at your disposal when you are in the class as well, right? All right, so it's 8:30. We are having a sutra class tomorrow again, right? I have not yet emailed out the sutras to you all, but I will do so. I will do so by tonight or tomorrow morning. Please forgive me. And before we Okay, so there is a question by Samantha. Where does Vedana Sanya Sankhara fit in within the ultimate and conventional truths? So Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara are mental factors, Chaitasikas. Right? I call it Chaitasika, but the proper, because that's a Sinhala way of pronouncing it. The proper way of pronouncing it is Chetasika. Right? So Vedana, Sanya and Sankhara, that is, Vedana is sensations, Sanya is perception, and Sankhara, mental factors, are mental factors. All right? Are mental factors. So usually when
Thank you, Bhante.
So Vedana is one mental factor, Sanya is one mental factor, and Sankhara are the rest of the mental factors. Right? Are the rest of the mental factors. We will be coming into how to divide sort of the ultimate realities within these four later on through the course, right? So if you also have any comments, any Buddhika, are you trying to say something?
Yeah,
I-
Nihal wants to talk
Yeah.
to you.
Bhante,
All right. Yes.
yeah, I can get the phone away.
Yeah.
You know, the Chitta, Chaitasika, Rupa, and Nibbana,
Yeah.
are they, is that a further dissection of conventional realities?
No. The further dissection of the conventional reality,
Or is it like
it wouldn't be proper to say so, right? Could you elaborate on what you mean by a further dissection?
or the other way, are they the constituents of conventional realities? So how did we, I mean, we were talking about conventional realities and in the ultimate reality, the two main groups. So where does Chitta, Chaitasika, Rupa and Nibbana fall into?
Example, it is as if the atoms, molecules, and particles coming together to form an object.
Okay.
Object is a conventional reality, but because we refer to the object as something, when the object takes a specific form, right, we refer to it by a name, by a color, right, by a use, right? But all of these things have been created by the attributes of the atoms, molecules, and particles, right?
Yeah.
So at this point, think of the foundations of creation itself, right? Now, if you would take this pen, you can break this down to the smallest atom, quark, and lepton, right? And it is a collection of all of that which allows for this pen to be this, right? And and then it takes its form. So the form, it's also conventional reality, because I can take it apart. See, ultimate reality, you cannot take it apart.
Yeah.
Right. So
sorry.
it would not be right to define it as a constituent of ultimate reality, as a constituent of the conventional reality. It would not be right to define it that way, right? But what we understand is how we understand it should be that it is what allows for this kind of an object to be, right? The hardness, see, the hardness. There is air within this pen, there's water within this pen, right? The hardness is and there's a temperature which allows this pen to maintain its form, right? You know this, doctor, right? So because of that, now all of that is what helps this pen to be the pen, right? That is what we are referring to as the ultimate reality, right?
Sorry, breaking up.
Yes. All right. So if it's breaking up,
I think.
Yeah. Hello.
Yes. Do you hear me now?
I hear you clearly.
Yeah. Okay. So, Chitta, Chaitasika, Rupa, Nibbana, in what context are we talking about it? In relation to what?
Chitta, Chaitasika, Rupa, Nibbana are the ultimate realities, the four ultimate realities. It is these ultimate realities that the Abhidhamma, that the Parramatta Satyas are these four realities, right? There is no further breaking down of one consciousness. There are 82 types of consciousnesses. These 82 types of consciousnesses has its own attribute, right?
Yeah.
Own taste, right? And you cannot break it down any further, right? The emotion, if I am, say, I am angry, I am annoyed, this can be broken down, right? How can it be broken down? Why are you annoyed? What is the reason for your annoyance? What has created the atmosphere for annoyance? The person who annoyed me, the reason, whatever the person said that which annoyed me. Now that is breakable, right? But the consciousness within me, right, which laid the base for some sort of an agitation to arise is final.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So when now in the next class, as we delve into the types of consciousnesses, doctor, it will be clearer.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Wonderful. So because of so we have recorded today's session, and the session will be uploaded onto our YouTube site hopefully today. It takes a bit of time to upload it onto YouTube, but I will upload it hopefully today, by today night. It will be available online. We will be having the Sutra class tomorrow. We failed to record the Sutra class yesterday because of certain technical difficulties that we were facing, but we will be recording tomorrow's Sutra class, and the next Abhidhamma class will be day after tomorrow, right? So if you do have any questions from today's class, whatever we discussed today, please write it down and bring it to share with every one of us on Thursday. Right, on Thursday. So I wish you a happy time of study and work. You have a lot of stuff to do now. You have sutras, you have Abhidhamma, and you have if you're working, you have your work as well. So quarantine cannot be boring. Right? So I wish you all the very best. I'll see you all tomorrow. Right? I mean, hopefully you all come. I do sort of recommend that you do come tomorrow. So if you do, please do do not fail to ask questions and to interact. Interaction is very, very important. There are no such things as stupid questions, only stupid answers. So that is on to me. Right? So do not be afraid to ask any question that you want. So thank you very much for joining. It was lovely having you all and teaching you and sharing something with you. I wish you all the very best. Stay safe. And Theron Sanna, good night.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bhante. Most welcome. Most welcome.